स्वामिनारायणाय नमः।
जे उत्पत्ति तथा स्थिति लय करे, वेदो स्तुति उच्चरे। जेना रोम सुछिद्रमा अणुसमा, ब्रह्मांड कोटि फरे। माया काल रवि शशि सुरगणो, आज्ञान लोपेक्षण। एवा अक्षरधामना अधिपति, श्री स्वामिनारायण। श्री स्वामिनारायण। श्री स्वामिनारायण।
संत सदा शुभमति,
एवा संत सदा शुभमति।
जगत दोष नहीं जे मरती,
जगत दोष नहीं जे मरती।
सौने आपे हित उपदेश,
संतने नामो शीश। एवा संतने नामो शीश। एवा संतने नामो शीश।
श्री स्वामीनारायण भगवाननी जय। अक्षर पुरुषोत्तम महाराजनी जय। गुणातीतानंद स्वामी महाराजनी जय। भगत जी महाराजनी जय। शास्त्री जी महाराजनी जय। योगी जी महाराजनी जय। प्रमुख स्वामी महाराजनी जय। महंत स्वामी महाराजनी जय। प्रमुख स्वामी महाराज शताब्दी महोत्सवनी जय। अक्षरधाम महोत्सवनी जय। Today, we will look into Pramukh Swami Maharaj's life and try to cover how a guru's entire life can be an ideal example of how to live our life. One way that Swami Shri led by example is through the way he did his seva. But in order to understand the seva he did, we need to understand what the word seva means. Seva is a Sanskrit word that means more than just service or to serve. It means to serve without the existence of one's own identity, to serve selflessly. Bhagwan Swaminarayan revived the true meaning of seva and initiated many humanitarian projects among his followers, ranging from digging wells to serving the ill. His personal example, set as a teenager while traveling through southern India, was the selfless service of an ill stranger. Sevakram was a sadhu who had contracted dysentery. Nilkanvarni, as Bhagwan Swaminarayan was known at the time, stopped on his vicharan to nurse Sevakram back to good health, staying for over 2 months until he was well again. Gunatitanand Swami's prasang with the Mahant of Tanetar, when asked why sweeping the compound, he said, Seva kare e Mahant. Bhagaji Maharaj set a very high standard of seva. For many months, he served the mandir, the sadhus, and the devotees for 20 hours every day and slept for only 4 hours. Sastri Maharaj too would be on hand in Seva and leading by example during the constructions of the mandir. Yogiji Maharaj stressed Seva as a form of bhakti and personally engaged in the Seva like washing utensils, serving the sick, making food, and serving Hari Bhakto. Pramukh Swami Maharaj has shown the same inclination for Seva and never tired of it. What better example of servitude than his life motto has been, "In the joy of others lies our own." He has not looked at the comfort of his body and has served all to the best of his ability, without any complaints or expectations of anything in return. Even till over the age of 90, he spent hours personally meeting and writing to devotees for their well-being and personal growth. But it was in 1940, when Sastriji Maharaj had just given Diksha to Pramukh Swami Maharaj, also known as Narayan Swarup Swami, or by his favorite nickname, Narayan Das. During that year, the Atladra Mandir was under construction. There were many such sevas during the constructions of the mandir. At that time, Shastriji Maharaj told the young and energetic Narayan Swarup Swami to join in the construction seva also. The service or the seva that Shastriji Maharaj had asked Narayan Swarup Swami to join was the lime crushing seva. He had to use his bare feet to crush the lime with water for many hours at a time. When lime is mixed with water and crushed, it releases heat and gets very hot. On top of this, it was midsummer. Imagine how hot it must have been. Now many devotees and sadhus were helping doing this particular seva, but hours went by, they started leaving one by one because they couldn't stand the heat. Each hour, more people left, and towards the end, only Narayan Swarup Swami was left. Everyone told Swami, "Swami, leave. You're going to go blind by the heat from the lime." Narayan Swarup Swami replied, "Sastriji Maharaj has asked me to do this seva, so no matter what it takes, I will finish this seva." Swami finished the seva, but the heat had also gotten to him. Swami had burning red blisters all over his body. His body was hot from the fever as well. At night, Swami could barely sleep. He was in pain from the blisters and the fever. The next day, Sastriji Maharaj found out and called Narayan Swarup Swami to him. Sastriji Maharaj gently touched Narayan Swarup Swami's entire body, soothing away the pain with his hands. And he said, "You'll be well soon," Sastriji Maharaj promised. Several days later, Narayan Swarup Swami joined the construction work at the mandir. The blisters had completely disappeared, except a red mark on the tip of his nose. From this prasang, we can see that early in his life, his goal was to please his Guru Sastriji Maharaj, even at the cost of his comfort, and this continued even till over the age of 90. He spent hours personally meeting and writing to devotees for their well-being. A natural result of Swami Shri's Guru Bhakti was his high regard, even reverence, for those who have served his Guru. We will look at a few such examples. Harshad Bhai Chawda, as an eager youngster, he had served in the Gondal temple during Yogiji Maharaj's final years there. He would be seen constantly scurrying from here to there, carrying buckets of hot water on cold morning, taking steaming tea up to a room, serving devotees faithfully in whichever way he could. In 1975, Pramukh Swami Maharaj had plans drawn up for a beautiful ornate gateway to the Gondal Mandir. Yogiji Maharaj had always wanted such an entrance built. Swami Shri selected a design and decided to build it in red and pink stone. This was to be the first structure in such stone for the Sanstha. He asked Harshad Bhai to travel to Bansipadpur in Rajasthan and make a primary survey. Harshad Bhai Chawda, he recollects, he says, in reality, I knew nothing of stone and building. First, Swami Shri sent him to Bansipalpur in Rajasthan to get some stone samples for the Akshardham Mandir gateway. It was Nom, the 9th of the first half of the month, so he had observed a Nirjala fast. The whole place was barren. He had to sleep by a well in the open. Swami Bappa had explained everything to him in detail, not just once, but many times. And then when he first stayed in Makrana for marble, Swami Shri would write lengthy letters, giving Harshad Bhai strength and courage. Soon, quarrying and carving operations began with Harshad Bhai, overseeing a small team of dedicated youths who managed the entire project. Even before the Gondal Gateway was completed, Swami Shri decided that Rajasthani pink stone will be used to build Akshardham, the magnificent cultural exhibition and monument dedicated to Lord Swaminarayan in Gandhinagar. This and other building projects kept Harshad and his team almost frantically busy. Yet one day, driving on his motorcycle, he was involved in an accident, barely escaping with his life. He was given emergency treatment locally and then taken to Bombay. Swami Shri was visibly distressed when told of the accident. He immediately contacted Pujya Kothari Swami and instructed that Harshad Bhai's every need be looked after. Swami Shri then wrote words of encouragement, reassurance, and strength to Harshad Bhai. Bappa wrote, "Hearing the news caused me great sorrow. I have prayed to Sriji Maharaj and Gunatitanand Swami for your speedy recovery. Your agony is our anguish. In such distress, I should be serving you because you have selflessly offered Seva over the years with unflagging enthusiasm, continuously, day and night, with no regard for hunger or thirst, no regard for your body, service with such devotion. Therefore, whatever can be done for you can never be enough. Thus, I feel sorry for not being able to physically serve you at this critical time." In the short span of 1 month, Swami Shri wrote no less than 4 letters to Harshad Bhai, totaling over 20 pages. The second letter read something like this: "Don't worry in the slightest about any of your medical expenses. Whatever the Sanstha can do for you is not enough to repay for the service you've given over the years. To please Yogi Bappa, you've paid no thought at all to hunger, thirst, insult, or abuse. In the environment of Bansipalpur, hot, cold, or rainy, you've done work amongst troublemakers at considerable risk to your own life. Your seva can never be forgotten, and the Sanstha has benefited a great deal, thanks to your dealings with the suppliers and the workers. Even if we have to spend 1 lakh rupees or more for you, the amount is immaterial. Your life shines even more than one who has renounced the world, as you've sacrificed all to serve in the Sanstha at one word from Yogiji Maharaj. To serve with a constant smile and tolerate is no child's play. Krishnakant and yourself, both of you, are truly loyal sevaks. What cannot be done for the two of you?" Another devotee that Pramukh Swami Maharaj enjoyed an amazing rapport and respect with was Triba Kaka. He was seriously ill in Bochasan. He had been serving in the Bochasan Mandir for 35 years. Prior to that, he and his family were settled in Kenya, Africa. When he heard that there was a need for devotees to help run the Bochasan Mandir, he immediately left with his family's permission and moved to Bochasan. Sasriji Maharaj's Agna was to do Seva in the accounting department. When Swami Shri arrived to meet and visit Bochasan, he walked straight to Tribakaka's room and sat beside his bed. "Who is serving and looking after Tribakaka?" he asked. He was told that Prabodjivan Swami was. Looking at Prabodjivan Swami giving specific instructions, Swami Shri said, "Serve Tribakaka well, understanding his Mahima. He has served both Sasriji Maharaj and Yogiji Maharaj. It is your good fortune to have such a chance to serve him." As such, let's fast forward to 1994. Pramukh Swami Maharaj and a group of santos were going to depart from Nairobi, Kenya, and two yuvaks had spent most of the evening before and the early morning preparing all the luggage for the return trip and had to leave for the airport and would miss their lunch. Everything was okay at the airport because all of the documentation, weight, etc., was exactly the way the airlines had requested. Swami Shri and the santos arrived, proceeded to check in and boarded the plane and got settled into their seats. The plane took off, and being a relatively short flight, there was no need to pack extra food, just snacks for Thakurji and Swami Shri. The two yuvaks, who after sitting down fell asleep right away due to a late night and early morning. They were awoken by a devotee who had 2 lunches in to-go trays ready. After overcoming their initial shock, as they were both hungry and tired, the devotee told them, "This was specially packed and brought for you by the santos on the instructions of Swami Shri." In January 1996, Pramukh Swami Maharaj was at the Sankri Mandir, and he called a yuvak to him. He had come for sadhak training from America and was traveling with him and gave him specific instructions. Swami Shri said, "I would like for you to attend your good friend and classmate's wedding in Bombay." The yuvak tried to use his logic, and he said, "Bapa, what is the need? I would rather take Labh. My friend hasn't insisted on me attending his wedding. I'm going to become a sant, so there's no need to attend, trying to give Sankhya Gnan to the Guru." Bapa, listening to all of the different ways the yuvak was trying to get out of going, he finally explained and said, "Look, Vevarache, and we have to please our Haribhaktas and friends for the sake of their own satsang growth and our growth. Look at the seva of these two families and think about how much they have sacrificed both physically and financially for satsang. Whenever santos need a good doctor, he is always ready to help and brings only the best doctors to help the santos. He also takes care of me when I have a need. These are lessons that will help you with your decision to become a sant." Finally agreeing to attend the wedding, Bapa blessed the yuvak and said, "Meet me before you leave." The very next day, the yuvak came to meet Swami Shri and asked him for Raja. Swami Shri said, "When you get to Bombay, meet Kothari Swami." When the yuvak met Kothari Swami, he said, "Bapa called me and gave me specific instructions for you. You will need wedding clothes. Please meet this Swami as he has made arrangements." The yuvak had tears in his eyes as one of the reasons for not wanting to go was that he didn't have these types of clothes with him. Swami Shri took care of everything for that yuvak. 5 days of outfits with 2 changes per day. After the wedding, the yuvak went back to Swami Bapa and Swami Shri blessed him and asked, "Have paku thai gyu chhe ke lagan nathi karwa?" The yuvak readily agreed. Now I would like to share my own personal voyage with Swami Shri from 1994 to 1999. As many of you know, I have an issue with my left leg. And for it, Pramukh Swami Maharaj sent me to our hospital in Botat for treatment, to Ahmedabad for treatment, to Gandhinagar for treatment, to Bombay for treatment, and finally to the USA for treatment. I think you get the idea. He did not leave a single stone unturned. Whenever he would see me, he would ask for an update and also ask the doctors that were assigned by him to keep him updated. In one meeting, Swami Shri said not to worry about Diksha right now. I didn't say anything, and then Bapa explained, what if a specialist happens to be a woman? If you've taken Diksha, then you will not be able to have her treat you. And in Bombay, that is exactly what happened. Puja Kotari Swami explained that Dr. Kiran Bhai has found a specialist, and your appointment is for later this afternoon. And don't forget to take prasad for her. I have already told the driver to be ready. Such was Swami Shri's love for someone who had yet to become a Parshad, let alone a Sant. Then in one sit-down meeting, Bapa explained to me that Adechene rognu garche. And on another occasion, he showed me all of his scars, from the removal of his gallbladder, from the gant from his thigh. And in 1997, Puja Priyavat Swami in Gondal, after the Ankot celebrations, requested Swami Shri, just place your hands all over his body and cure him like you've cured so many others before. Swami Shri replied, Jo adechane rognu garche. Ene puchne mataru che ke nahi. I didn't reply because I felt it was a trick question. After all the possibilities were exhausted, Swami Shri decided in 1999 to give me Diksha. And every time after that, when we would go for his darshan from North America, he would always ask, Bagma ke uche? And on other occasions, he would point at my leg and ask via hand gestures. Man, that was something special. The only thing that I can think of is, Kon koni seva kareche. And the love and feelings and gestures are the same with Mahant Swami Maharaj, when in January 2017, one of the santos mentioned about my leg swelling. He simply pointed to his two legs and then pointed to himself. It's the same Bapa. On June 26, 2000, Pramukh Swami Maharaj was in Nottingham, UK, doing Padramnis, and when the car stopped at the house, Swami Shri unbuckled his seatbelt. The yuvak driving the car said that I would have unbuckled it for you. There was no need to do it yourself. Swami Shri replied that sometime one has to become a Swayam Sevak. The youth responded, there's no need for you to become a Swayam Sevak. You're the boss. Swami Shri, placing a finger on his chest, said, I am not the boss. I am a Sevak. From this simple and short prasang, we can see that despite being the guru of hundreds of thousands, Swami Shri always harbors the feelings of Sevak Bhav, one who wants to constantly offer Seva. Then in August the 6th of the year 2000, Swami Shri was in Atlanta. And during his visit to see the entire complex, Swami Shri arrived at the medical clinic. Dr. Harshad Bhai requested Swami Shri to sit on a chair, and he offered a stethoscope to Swami Shri and told him, Bapa, we check patients here, but you are the doctor of all doctors. Please check me today. When Swami Shri put the stethoscope on Dr. Harshad Bhai's heart, he asked Swami Shri, will it go to Akshardham? Swami Shri replied with the doctor's confident style, yes, it is really eligible to go to Akshardham. Then Bapa, what about us? The other devotees asked. Swami Shri, raising his hand, replied in a divine mood, everyone will go to Akshardham. There is Akshardham for all of those who do Seva. What more can we ask for? Our Akshardham is guaranteed as long as we do Seva the same way Pramukh Swami Maharaj has offered his Seva. Without looking at the comfort of his body, Pramukh Swami Maharaj has not looked at heat, at the cold, hunger, thirst, caste, creed, and has served all of mankind to the best of his ability. without any complaints or expectations of anything in return. We too can consider what mindset we must have while doing seva at home, at the mandir, etc. When asked about expectations or blessings from his guru, Pramukh Swami Maharaj explained, he replied that I never nourished any expectations of blessings from Sasiji Maharaj. I have never asked for his nails, his hair, or cloth as prasadi mementos. Written blessings often remain in writing only. I do not know why, but I have never cherished such a desire. Whatever was said by him, I simply followed verbatim till today. And therefore, I experience total peace. I have never felt that Sasiji Maharaj is away from me. Whenever the giver of blessing is with you, then where is the need for blessings? Never have I made Sasiji Maharaj and Yogiji Maharaj feel helpless. I have done as per their desires, and hence have earned their blessings, their rajipo. We too can have such feelings if we follow the same prescription as mentioned by Pramukh Swami Maharaj and live our life like his. And when we do this, our life's motto too can become, in the progress of others lies our own, in the good of others lies our own, in the bliss of others lies our own, and in the joy of others lies our own. Shri Swaminarayan Bhagwan Jai.
Gunatitam Gurum Prapya Brahmarupam Nijatmana Vibhavya Dasa Bhavena Swami Narayanam Bhaje Shri Harim Saksharam Sarvadeveshwaram Bhaktidhar